Hey, a lot of work put into this moment. A lot of work. Remember one thing today. You're not alone. You got 10 dudes around you that are going to lay it on the line for you. Do the same for them. Dominate on 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Exciting in the space, you know that I don't play. I'ma take you on a date, yeah, I'm the 40 back from
Ready to go.
Take notice from the heart, cause you know that I'm a star. And it's all came from the heart. You were here when it was hard. I told her what I'm.
Hey, gotta love this, man. Get to go out there and play some football, man. Have some fun, play for each other.
Or each other for the man next to you.
Hey, 60 minutes, play for one another.
Hey, man, this is a hell of an opportunity.
What you willing to lay on the line? Ask yourself that.
Finish, grind, take a deep breath, and have some fun. Okay?
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Late as Hell Sports. You guys already know the slogan. We here and we late as hell. How we feeling today, guys? How we feeling? Talk to me, guys. We'll start with Nero. Nero, how you feeling today, brother?
Hey, another Monday. Can't complain. Saw an ass whooping on Monday Night Football.
Yes, sir.
That's how you end the night, though. They're the Dallas Cowboys, so yeah.
Absolutely. Mr. Spoked B Center. He's in the building. Chad, he's in the building. How you feeling, brother? How you feeling?
Doing good, doing good. How's everyone else doing?
Good, man. I can't complain. We out here. We late as hell. You know, another great night of great sports talk. Connor, how we feeling tonight, my good man, Mr. Con Rondadon? Feeling good, feeling great.
You know, I'm glad I'm here because work be pissing me off, so I'm glad I'm here.
Yes, sir. Hey, amen to that. Amen to that. Amen to that, for sure. And with that being said, guys, we're going to jump right into it. NFL Monday Night Recap. The Dallas Cowboys, with their new star-studded defensive tackle, win tonight with a score of 33-16 against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I know, obviously, like Nero said, this was an ass whooping, but looking at this game, you know, if we just look at the stats real quick, pretty easy to come by for the Cowboys tonight in the pass game. Was not that hard for them to generate some points tonight. Dak Prescott, probably his best game all year as far as just moving the ball. His overall rating, his completion percentage was 75% tonight. 268 yards and 4 touchdowns, 4 smackers. And Javonte Williams, 22 attempts for 93 yards. He was a difference maker for sure for this offense. And George Pickens with a monster game. 144 yards and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb was the WR2 tonight with 66 yards and a touchdown. Overall, this defense played great. You did have Dak Prescott. He had a fumble tonight, which he lost. But despite that, you know, you want to see him clean that up a little bit going forward, obviously. Deron Bland tonight, he was a beast. And granted, again, people are going to say it's the Raiders, but the Dallas Cowboys need this type of play from their defense to go into these next string of games for themselves, to continue to try and make the playoffs. They are in a division where, honestly, I don't even think they should really be 3-5-1, but the defense has held them back. But tonight, the defense was probably the best thing about this team tonight. Quinnen Williams, I think personally, other than Deron Bland, was the player of this game. Obviously, outside of Dak Prescott, he had 4 tackles, 1 solo, 1.5 sacks, and 1 tackle for a loss. And then also Deron Bland, 2 pass deflections on top of 10 total tackles. So those 2 guys tonight definitely 100% set the tone, and they set the tone early, especially Quinnen Williams. Now, the Raiders, I mean, obviously, it wasn't that great of a night. This Raiders team isn't that good of a team. And, you know, honestly, Geno Smith, he still had a decent enough game to kind of keep them in it at certain points, but they got into the red zone, weren't able to put up enough points. He took 4 sacks today. He did have a touchdown. He had 238 yards, so it's not as bad as it looked tonight, obviously, by score. He did have 1 interception. He was running for his life out there. If you really watched the game, he 100% was running for his life, a ton out there. Brock Bowers, 7 for 72, the leading receiver on this team as per usual. And Trey Tucker, 47 yards and a touchdown. Definitely showed some skills out there today. He might be a piece that might stay if they upgrade at wide receiver, but it is a wide receiver heavy offseason. So Trey Tucker, obviously, right now is the wide receiver one. Brock Bowers is a tight end, so you can't really call him wide receiver one. He's the main target, though, and the focal point on the offense. But you look at this game, and, there wasn't much the Raiders could do offensively, especially the fact that Max Crosby was almost non-existent other than a forced fumble. He did have that forced fumble, but Max Crosby, 5 tackles. He had 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss, which was included in that forced fumble. So, you know, uh, uh, Devin White, 10 total tackles, as per usual. Polomau, 9 total tackles. An average game from this defense. Obviously, they weren't able to stop them in the red zone. Jamal Adams was great in the run game. 4 tackles, 1 solo. So, overall, looking at these stats, as you can see for those watching, wasn't too much of an exciting game on the Raiders' end, but you do like to see this from a Cowboys team that is out here definitely trying to make a playoff push. So, with that being said, guys, start with Nero. How do you think the Cowboys defense, considering Quinnen Williams' dominant play, is Quinnen Williams a game changer enough for this team in this defense to continue to get to the quarterback? And can he open up the line for other people in this pass rush, which is one of the worst pass rushes in the league?
Honestly, I mean, what you saw Quentin Williams do tonight on a new team like this, obviously he wasn't able to really have these opportunities with the Jets because the Jets keyed in on him. Now, with him having a night like this with 1.5 sacks, you saw Osa Digizua, excuse me.
Yeah.
So Osa Digizua actually was able to contribute, even though he's done okay. Now with a guy like Quinn Williams, obviously he was a lot more free. Kenny Clark was a lot more free. He picked up half a sack today too. So I think Quinn Williams elevates the defensive front enough that, okay, now that he's here, that's one guy that you really have to look at. You know what I'm saying? You have to look at every single play. And by doing so, those other two get freed up. Azaraku gets freed up. All that presence right there changes because you add him in the middle. And he had a fine game today on a team that he should. I mean, the Raiders offensive line, besides Colton Miller, everybody else is, it ain't really everybody else is kind of just, I'm not gonna call them dog shit, but they ain't that great. You feel me? So this is the opportunity for him to, at least with his new team, get his feet wet. It's his first game, 1.5 sacks. You can't go wrong. Now, when you also look at it, obviously you picked him up for this stretch run and also for the future. What this does for the stretch run is, okay, you add a guy who's more disruptive, who can free up other people. And by doing so, like what they did with Geno Smith today, they had him a lot of the time running for his life. So if he can actually continue this play, which I'm sure he will, as the games go on in the last, I believe, 7 games for this team, you're going to start to see a lot more pressures, a lot more sacks. You're going to start to see what Dallas was missing for the first 9-10 games of the season. And again, with him, showing out today, they did it for Dallas. They did it for Marshawn Nealon. This was a game that they had to win. This was, especially for Nealon. Everybody on defense stepped up. The Raiders really didn't get to do much, especially in the run game. Also, Ashton Genty, really couldn't do shit, because of that defensive line. And also you see Deron Bland picking up 10 tackles, a couple pass deflections. It's you're supposed to do all that against a team like this, but because they did that tonight and with the group that they have now, I think they're better set up to at least try to continue to make a run to put themselves in playoff position by the end of the season. So it's only one game. It's a nice step forward, but you got to keep going rolling like that if you want to make a run. Uh-oh. We still there?
My fault. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good. Yeah.
How come? Everyone speak for me real quick?
Yeah.
Yo.
It might be my end. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
I couldn't, for some reason, the audio cut out for me. Give me 1 second, guys. Nero, if you want to continue as far as maybe the Cowboys schedule, the Raiders schedule, like going forward, what you see these teams going forward as, that would be awesome while I try and figure this out. That's weird. Sorry, chat. I just got a brand new laptop, so.
Yeah. In terms of the Cowboys schedule for the next, let's see, for the next few games, I got y'all right now. So, in terms of the Cowboys, now that they are 4-5-1, next week is on Sunday. This upcoming Sunday is the Eagles that they take them on in Dallas, and then week 13, which will be on Thanksgiving, they take on the Chiefs at home. Obviously, home game for the Cowboys as always. Then they go to the Lions. They play the Vikings back home. Then the Chargers at home. Then the Commanders. They go on the road for that in week 17. And then week 18, they cap off the season against the Giants. Now, obviously, this schedule right now, I mean, it's not, it's a tough schedule. I mean, especially with the Eagles. The Chiefs are, in a sense, still the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs had a tough loss on Sunday against the Broncos. But with a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you can't go wrong. You can't, think that's going to be an easy game to win. They're always going to put up a fight with those Chiefs. And then the Lions, Vikings, Chargers, again, those are teams that not necessarily hit or miss, but you got to make sure you play your A game to at least get a dub in that. And then the Commanders and Giants, two teams right there that, they're not having the best of seasons due to injuries, due to coaches getting fired, this, that, and the fourth. But I tell you, in terms of the Vikings, in terms of the Cowboys, defensive wise, I tell you, if, like I said earlier, if Quinn Williams can have the game that he has, or at least be consistent, along with his fellow mates on the defensive line to cause pressures, I mean, these are games that they might be able to pull off a few of these games to try to make it into the playoffs as well. And the last couple of weeks are a lot easier, especially the teams that they're dealing with now, due to the Commanders not having a quarterback and the Giants still being the Giants. A young quarterback, a new head coach, interim head coach, and Matt Kafka. So, these Dallas Cowboys, they should be able to rack up a couple some wins and try to put themselves to at least get a wild card berth in the playoffs.
Absolutely. I just fixed it. I apologize, chat. I apologize. I'm sorry. Honestly, you look at this going forward, look at the chat. If you guys want to look at the chat here, Nero, you got some fans in here, brother. You got some fans in here, brother.
I do. Yeah, I just peeped the chat. Shout out to the chat.
W hate. Love to see it. W hate. If you didn't know, if you're new, Nero and I partnered up. So, we never really had a logo or background, but that's what happens when you upgrade, brother. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. We're always on Narrow Stream too. If you guys, mostly me, for the most part. But shout out to WTHHS. Make sure you go and subscribe. Honestly, like you said, also about the Cowboys, moving forward, this is a crucial time for them. These next 6 to 7 games, man, it is a crucial time. And you look at a lot of these. You look at a lot of these games going forward, there's a lot of winnable games in the mix here. And I do think that this Cowboys team they probably have to win out, man. They probably do. Honestly, looking forward, there's probably no choice but for them to win out at this point. And, you hope to see that this Cowboys team fails. The slogan, let's get negative. You already know. So, you hope to see that they fail. But before we get out of the football segment here, little bit of a Patriots Week 12 preview. Because my guy, Mr. WTHHS, is in this bit. Nero, looking forward to this week. What do you expect the Patriots to do this week? How do you expect the game to go? And how are you feeling going into this week, man?
Well, I feel good. Obviously, with Jamar Chase most likely not playing, I mean that takes one receiver off the field and the most important receiver off the field. So at least Gonzo, in his case, might have somewhat. Well, I wouldn't say just Gonzo, but at least for the Pats defense, they have one less guy to worry about. They still got to worry about T. Higgins. So expect Gonzo and T. Higgins to match up. Should be an easier matchup for Carlton Davis if he lines up with Andres Iosivas. Or whatever other receiver is out there. Defensively for the Bengals, they suck. So Drake May should be able to continue being Drake May. Travion Henderson should have, another good game. Maybe not the 3 touchdown-esque, but everybody should be effective on offense. Hopefully Stephon Diggs is still showing out. Hunter Henry should be able to get opportunities. Matt Collins too. Kayshon Boutte if he is back. Overall, I like this matchup. I see the Patriots definitely winning this one, especially now that you don't have to worry about, again, Jamar Chase. But going into Cincy, I mean, hey, just like we heard it about 10 years ago, hey, we're on the Cincy. That was a motto for these guys after Thursday Night Football. We're on the Cincy. We're on the Cincinnati, So, yeah, I see them doing well. And, hopefully Joe Flacco, in terms of the Pats defense, the Joe Flacco can, kind of, be a shell of himself and run for his life like Geno Smith did tonight. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. 1,000%. If interesting, I was looking at some next gen stats, yo. This man, Travion Henderson, is one of the fastest ball carriers in the league, top 5. And this does include wide receivers and running backs mostly for the most part. You do have a corner in there, Nashawn Wright. Shout out Nashawn Wright, cornerback for the Chicago Bears. He's in there in the mix, but Travion Henderson with one of the fastest runs in the average speed of 22 miles per hour on long runs. He's killing it right now, and this is the running back of the future, no doubt. And looking at some of these next gen stats, you look at passing. Look at that boy Drake May, man. That boy Drake May is second in K. Well, actually, he's first in K. He's first in TT. And in terms of total yards right now, he is last I checked he was first. I don't know why it actually says Daniel Jones, which is odd. I thought it was Drake May, to be quite honest with you, but I guess it's Daniel Jones. Touchdowns, he's right there, right with Matthew Stafford, 19, 21.
No, sure.
Yeah, man. Drake May's having a MVP like season. You look at a lot of these stats, and he's just up at the top for a lot of these stats. At least he's top 10 and pretty much all of these stats. So
yeah, for sure.
Looking at all these stats, look, he's top 3 in K, top 3 in IAY, average intended air yards. If you guys don't know what that is, these are completion air yards. He's obviously third, considering the fact that he's been throwing to Kayshon Boutte long, and his aggressiveness percentage is one of, honestly, this is like the stat where I feel like this is his improvement from last year, where he was bottom 5 in aggressiveness percentage, which, if you guys don't know that are watching, aggressiveness percentage is how aggressive you are driving the ball down the field. You can take Jake Browning, obviously, with a grain of salt. He hasn't really been a starter, so him being first is not really a true testament to how well Jake Browning has played as far as aggressive rate. But Dak Prescott is first, obviously ignoring Jake Browning. And then you have Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, which these guys all have, and Joe Flacco, Daniel Jones. It's odd that it's funny that Dylan Gabriel's in front of him, which goes to show Dylan Gabriel might not be as bad driving the ball down the field as we think. But I think that aggressiveness percentage is a good metric to understand how far the ball is going down the field. And Drake May is right there with a lot of these guys. So you look at and he's tied with Jalen Hurts, which is odd. But then looking at Jalen Hurts, his longest completed air distance, Jalen Hurts is not even in the top 20 for this, and Drake May is here. So a lot of these next gen stats, if you guys don't have a chance to look at next gen stats, these are very good metrics to use in terms of quarterbacks, running, passing, receiving. This is really the real analytics for figuring out what's what. Air yards to the sticks too as well. Drake May, top 10 again. air yards to the sticks, even though he's negative 0.6, excuse me. Air yards to the sticks, if you guys understand what that means, is basically on first downs, how many first downs they convert and how many air yards they convert through first down. So obviously you can see Matthew Stafford, Sam Darnold, pass-heavy offense. Atlanta, pass-heavy offense. Jalen Hurts being at 0 is no fucking surprise to anybody. Daniel Jones, not really a pass-heavy offense, but he's been balling out when he needs to throw the ball. Jackson Dart, it was pass-heavy when he was there playing outside of his concussion, and with Cam Skattebo, it dipped obviously when Cam Skattebo went out because the run wasn't able to open up the pass. So, Patrick Mahomes, 0.3, Lamar, 0.4, May, 0.6. So the discrepancy obviously isn't that big. This is more of a fine-tuned number to kind of get an idea, but he's right there in the top 10, like I said. So you look at his passer rating, second. Lamar, you take with a grain of salt a little bit because Lamar was hurt for like 3 to 4 weeks. So, expected completion percentage, this one, I mean, I couldn't believe he was this low, but this number really shows more so the route running of the team, if that makes sense. We don't have a true number 2. I think that's the real problem, is that the Patriots don't have a true number 2. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is the true 1, which he's always been a true 1. So this stat to me stands out because he's only at 63.8, and the highest is 68.2, which is Caleb Williams. Which obviously Caleb Williams is in a pass-heavy offense, even though DeAndre Swift gets the ball. DeAndre Swift actually gets the ball a lot more in the pass than he does most of the time in the run. So, just some numbers to look out for. Drake May is playing at an exceptional level, so obviously the numbers show that. But with also that being said too as well, moving forward, we got the Bruins in here, man. We got Mr. Spoked B Center.
What up? How we doing?
What's good, my guy? How you doing, bro? Talk to me about the Bruins game. Bruins lose to the Hurricanes 3-1. Able to get a goal there at the end. How do we feel about this Bruins team? And I don't know who this is in the comments, but
they hating for real.
yeah, like the hate is crazy, yo. Like, damn.
Yeah. Oh shit.
I've never seen anything like this. This is crazy.
The hate is nuts. Like, I really
Hey, but they're doing us a favor.
Damn, he said that's why Nero getting no. Why is niggas lying? Why are we lying?
Hey, why are we lying? They're helping
now
us
we just lying. Now we're just lying. That's you love to see it. I guess I look like.
He said Team Morant. Wow.
Team Morant.
That's wow. That's. I'm not even lying. That's just crazy.
I'd rather look like Team Morant than be hating in the comment section on YouTube from a Nature's Best Friend page. Yeah, Nature's Best Friend. Yep. Let them meet Munch. It's all good. It's part of the game. You love to see it. Our podcast slogan is "Let's get negative." Get as negative as you can, bro. We love it. Spoke.
What's up?
Talk about the Bruins for me, man. How did you feel about this game tonight? I know you were at the game. Shout out Spoke. He was at the game tonight.
That's right.
A little bit of a round of applause for Spoke. You feel me? Feel me? How do you feel, man? How do you feel about this game, man? How did you feel about the overall play as far as defense tonight?
Okay, so going into the game, let's first start off by saying that the Bruins entered the game versus probably a cup contending team and we are injured. So we don't have Charlie McAvoy, we don't have Victor Arvidsson, nor do we have Casey Middleset, who is a key factor in that second line. So the Bruins called up, I think, Blumel and Riley Tufte. Now Tufte's been playing amazing in Providence, and they thought he could bring it up today versus the Hurricanes, but he didn't. But he did score. So that brings me to say, the offense had a good amount of chances, but they just couldn't finish at all, which was insane because I've seen at least 5 one-timer opportunities, and we all whiffed on them. If there's a stat for whiffed one-timers, I would like to see where the Bruins rank because the amount we have this season is kind of insane. But the offense, to me, was just not there. They did have chances. but just couldn't finish.
Yeah, it was. I think, yeah, you're right about the chances tonight. There were a decent amount of chances. Obviously, you would kind of like to see a little bit of a better showing, obviously. And if you look at the box score, you know, I mean, obviously, box score is not the greatest metric because obviously they can't really see the highlights, so we don't get flagged. Um, but
Chekhov played great. Played
but
great.
yeah, I was just gonna say Kochetkov was definitely the story of this game. Um, he was out there wheeling and dealing, creating plays. Jordan Stahl, a goal, +1, 5 hits, one block shot, 2 shots. He was all over the place.
Yeah, he was
Goss
playing great.
Bear played great tonight. Honestly, if you really watch the game,
Yeah, I
Goss
think.
Bear was awesome. We
Yeah,
won in the face-off dot, which has been a
Hurricane.
struggle for us all season. Um, I hate the fact that they won 3-1 and went 0-2 on the power play. But defensively, we were there. I mean, you would like to see Swayman have a little bit of a better game. Unfortunately, he didn't have the greatest game, but we had 27 giveaways, and you can't win games like that, dude.
No, we
You
just shot
can't.
ourselves in the foot.
You can't win games like this. I mean, 27 giveaways is unreal. I think we actually lead the league in giveaways right now.
I
Even
wouldn't be
from
surprised.
even from the defensive standpoint, we
Amari,
do.
I
Talk
actually
to me.
feel like we sometimes I feel like we play against each other with the giveaways and the turnovers and all of that because it happens to results like these where there's offensive opportunities, we're winning faceoffs, we have power plays, but the giveaways are killing us. We're shooting ourselves in the foot, and yeah, I feel like sometimes we just play against each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like if I'm gonna be real, it doesn't feel like to me there's a real captain on this team. It
No,
it it
absolutely not.
I'm not sure if McAvoy is really necessarily ready, and I don't think Pasta really wants that responsibility. It doesn't really seem like he wants the responsibility enough to a point when you talk about the media and other things too. It just doesn't seem like he's the type of guy that really wants to be in that sort of spotlight. But hopefully he learned something from Patrice Bergeron and a couple other guys. But there is a guy who made a debut for the Bruins tonight. Actually, a couple guys, but
Two guys.
the most notable here, Riley Tufte.
Yes, sir.
Spoke. How did you feel about his performance tonight and his debut?
Okay, so coming up from Providence, and you're playing one of the best teams in the league with probably, in my opinion, the best defense in the league. He had wait, you have the stats pulled up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I'm looking on my computer. I
Mhm.
think he had 3 shots on goal,
Yep.
and one of them was a goal, but
Yes, sir.
it didn't really matter with 9 seconds left. I can't lie. I think he looked pretty good on the power play
Mhm.
because he was making a lot of opportunities, and I feel like he has a presence on the ice. It might just be me, but I like the way he skates and he plays with this ambition to get the puck after someone loses it, which I feel like the Bruins need more of. So obviously, it wasn't a great showing for some rookies and people who are making their season debuts with the Boston Bruins.
Right.
But like, if you are looking forward to this, if they were playing a worse team, they could have impacted more.
Yeah, probably. I think this is a game. We're okay with losing. This isn't. We're overachieving to start the year. I mean, if you look at us, we are first in the division right now.
I don't think anyone
Or
has
in the
that.
wild card. I lied. In the wild card, which no, we are first in the division. No, we
You
are.
still are because Montreal lost.
Yep.
There you go.
Montreal lost tonight. Shout out Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Nah, thanks, Ben. We appreciate you. They lost 4-3 to the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight, so you did us a favor. But yeah, I mean, looking forward, you know, I don't expect the Panthers to play like this forever.
They're injured. Keep in mind.
Yeah, Barkov's not going to be here this year. I mean, if they make the playoffs, he'll be there. But he's not going to be here at all for the regular season. And if he's lucky, he'll make it to the second round of the playoffs. Matthew Tkachuk, he's coming back. I think in like a month, maybe a month and a half, right?
I think so.
So Matthew Tkachuk comes back, which that's the heart and soul, their best player, other than Barkov. So I don't expect the Panthers to play this forever. The Lightning are getting old. They're
Yeah,
not really a
they're
young
done.
team.
They're done, bro.
They're kind
They're-
of done for. No Mitch Marner is what you can see from this Maple Leafs depleted roster. Mitch Marner leaving clearly has hurt this offense. It's and even defensively, it looks like too from the forwards, it's not good. It's
yeah,
just
100%.
not good. And the Sabres are where they're supposed to be, but the Sabres
The
are
Sabres
fighting
are
there
going to
with
be
a
good for
couple.
like the next 10 years.
Yep, and
So
they got a couple
they're
good
doing
young
fine.
players. Yep, absolutely. And you look at the Metropolitan, the Devils, the Hurricanes are right where they're supposed to be, but I don't think anybody expected the Penguins or the Islanders to be that far up, especially the Penguins. But the Penguins are a
The
veteran team with a mix of young guys, so you look forward and this Bruins team looking around this conference, man. I think the Bruins can make the playoffs, dude. If we get healthy again, I think that this team can 100% make the playoffs. And yes, do we want them to? Probably not if you're a Bruins fan, just for the sheer fact that I would tank for McKenna.
I agree.
I would 100% tank for Gavin McKenna. He's a stud. He's a guy that goes out there and he just continues to make plays over there for Penn State. If you guys have been watching any NCAA hockey, he's just continued to make plays. And it is kind of crazy that this is like a deep draft coming up. It's not like this is um a weak draft or a draft where we couldn't tank for anybody. If we can get another top 7 pick and we can get James Higgins too as well to come from college, which I don't think he will. I think he'll stay another year. I'm not so
Amari,
sure. Yeah.
keep in mind we have 2 first-round picks this year.
Yep. Absolutely. But even if we
So
tank,
we could do a lot with that. We could do so much with that.
I don't think it makes sense to make a trade. Like I don't think you should trade any of those 2 picks. I say you just move forward and
yeah, absolutely.
I think you can get a guy who's probably maybe ready to play now with the late first round pick. You get a guy who can maybe have an impact like maybe right away. And the other first round pick, which is an earlier pick, it might be a younger guy that might not be ready to play right away. So you hope that these 2 picks do pan out. James Higgins is playing awesome. If anybody watches the BC Eagles for hockey, I know
Even though
Nero watches the Eagles for football. So if anybody's an Eagles fan, tune into WTHHS. Subscribe to them on YouTube. They talk about, and Nero talks about, we talk about the Eagles sometimes. Nero talks about the Eagles a lot. I join him sometimes. I like watching the BC Eagles too. So, look out for Gavin McKenna. Look out for James Higgins. Any of you college NCAA fans, look out for them for sure. That is definitely a two players that 100% will be making moves in this league with the years to come. But like
100%.
like Connor said, Bees playoffs, we will love to see it. Absolutely, you do. But if we miss it, I don't mind. I don't mind. Not to say I want to lose,
I agree.
but
Because this year, obviously, we're over exceeding expectations. But if we still make the playoffs, it's always fun because playoffs in Boston are probably the most memorable and the best experience to get. So, yeah, I mean, if we win, if we make the playoffs, cool. If we lose, okay, we have a lot to do with this year's draft with 2 first-round picks. So, let's see what happens. I'm excited. I have no expectations for this year. So, just sit and enjoy the ride. That's all I could say.
absolutely, I can't even blame you. And yeah, like Connor said before we get out of here, but no bullshit. Dak Prescott balled out as he has been, but definitely props to the run game established early for the Cowboys as the Raiders had no answers. Yeah, man. I mean, Max Crosby, you might be a New England Patriot soon enough, brother.
That'd be amazing. That would be amazing.
You might be a New England Patriot soon enough.
Shoot.
He got paid, but
We'd love that.
he.
I wouldn't be upset.
Pats get a true defensive end one. Oh man, it's clips. It's
It's
clips. They get a
that
true
Bullshit.
DN one. It's clips. But yeah, I love to see it. The Eagles are frauds. Yeah. Oh, real quick. I'm sorry. Yeah, before we get out of here, if you watched the Eagles game last night, the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Detroit Lions 16-9. And now we were kind of talking. Um, we've been kind of talking a little bit about this Eagles team going forward, and this fraudulent offense, man. Jalen Hurts is not getting the job done. The defense is what's getting the job done. Nero, do you think this Eagles team is still a contender? I'm curious to know.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you have a tush push, you can never go wrong. These guys are always going to be something. The offense itself, Saquon Barkley hasn't had the season that he had last year, obviously. And AJ Brown whines and bitches every time, he gets a chance to. You feel me? So I think because of certain teams that they play and where their home field's at and whatnot, I think, you can call them a contender for right now because obviously they just won it last year. But I think they're definitely going to make the playoffs. We know that. But I think that I don't know. This is the way how this team is looking right now, especially offensively. I see them getting upset in the first round of the playoffs. Whether it's the wild card or divisional, most likely the divisional, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna have the same run that they had last year. I just don't see it, especially if Saquon really can't get going like that, and he's averaging less than 4 yards a carry, and it seems as though, especially how he ran the ball Sunday night. He really couldn't get anything going, and it's been like that all year. If Jalen Hurts is scared to throw the ball downfield for the most part, and his teammates are frustrated with it, especially the wide receivers, they'll get they're in for a rude awakening. Basically, is what I really have to say. I don't know if this team, really has to go back to back. There has to be a lot of like turmoil internally soon enough. In order to do something, it has to happen quick in order to really have this offense really flow. But if it's not, I don't see them doing shit. Truthfully, they're about to be.
Yeah, I
They
don't
might be
either.
one and done. Yeah,
I don't either. And some interesting statistics here about Jalen Hurts. It's funny that you brought this up. Um, I think Jalen Hurts, he's got no excuses. And the reason why I say he has no excuses is I went through this in a group chat earlier this past weekend, Bay State Media public chat. If you guys want to join our Instagram group chat, we get active. We get in there. Come and join us. We like to get active. We love to talk about football. For the most part, honestly, that's probably what we talk about the most. You look at a lot of these metrics here. Don't let this fool you that he's seventh. Okay, these are also fantasy numbers. So Jalen Hurts is also almost at the bottom of the league in terms of passing yards in general. Hasn't even reached 2,000 yet this year. So you look at that, and he only has one interception because he doesn't throw the ball. But he's taken 26 sacks, which is top 15 in the league. And the craziest part is that if I can pull it up here, I'm almost want to say he's seventh in air yards. I don't know why or seventh in air yards, seventh in like time to throw. So the excuse that Jalen Hurts can't, the excuse that Jalen Hurts is this guy that really can't throw the ball is true, because his time to throw, he's top 10, and he's sacked the most. That tells me you're holding on to the ball too long and you don't trust what you see. Now, honestly, I blame the coordinator more than I blame Jalen Hurts, if I'm going to be real with you. So I don't want to sit here and act like everything is all on Jalen Hurts, but a lot of it, and a majority of it, is on Jalen Hurts. And you look at real-time ADP. Oh, come on. Before you look at a lot of these Um, a lot of those numbers, I don't know why it won't let me pull it up here. On my phone, it was working perfectly fine. Sorry, chat. But you look at a lot of these numbers, man, and it's shocking to see as far as the time to throw, because I looked at all this stuff the other day. If you guys need to go on Fantasy Pro gives you more of a lot of this than like PFF. I don't really trust PFF in their grading. A lot of their grading is BS sometimes. I like Fantasy Pros because they really use the analytics to calculate how well a player is actually playing. And fantasy is also a good metric as well, especially the scoring. If you have like our league, which is a very good scored league. So I look at a lot of these, and 1 interception to 16 touchdowns. Obviously, that's the best ratio in the league out of all the starters. You can't really say Justin Fields because he's 7-1. So realistically, you can't really say Justin Fields. But you look at it, nobody else in terms of a starting quarterback, a real starting quarterback that has started all season. They don't have 1 interception. That's the only thing I can say. He's not turning the ball over. If you're gonna, if I'm gonna compare him to anybody, he's Alex Smith with legs. That's really, really how I feel about he's Alex Smith with legs. And Alex Smith didn't turn the ball over. That was the beauty as a Chiefs fan of why we kept him, why we liked him. The problem was he couldn't always hit the downfield throws, the guys down the field. And it was a struggle for us as Chiefs fans for a long time for us to get with that. But once we got Mahomes, I think that was really the difference, and you saw the difference between a guy who's elite and a guy who's just very good, and a guy who can just manage the game and not turn the ball over. That only gets you so far. And with, like you said, Nero, which is a great point about Saquon Barkley too, as well. Actually, Saquon Barkley, it's not that he's struggling this year, but in analytics here, he is 12th right now in analytics. And that to me is a telltale sign, bro, that, he's trying his best out there. He's doing everything he possibly can. He's had a banged up O-line. The play calling hasn't been the best. But obviously, if you look at his receiving stats, he hasn't really gotten the ball too much in terms of receiving, man. You got a guy like Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane, Bijan, Jameer, 47, 37, 54, 74. Jonathan Taylor, 30 catches. It's concerning that he's not even in the top 10 for receptions. Like, how is Rico Dowdle there 10th in receiving? He almost has the same amount of yards as you, and he's averaging more yards a catch.
Makes no sense.
That's not good. That is an offensive coordinator problem, and it also falls on Jalen Hurts. I don't care if you don't throw the ball downfield, but if you can get it to the guys where they're supposed to be getting the ball, you're doing your job for the most part. And it looks like Christian McCaffrey is going to have another 1,000 and 1,000 season.
Yep.
He's 700 and 700. Devon Achane.
That's not talked about that enough, by the way. That's not talked about that enough.
Yep, and he might be. I think he might be the only He might be the only running back to do that twice in his career, if he reaches that mark, which is crazy. It's insane.
It is,
and this is where Saquon Barkley should be. There's a lot more offensive weapons as far as wide receivers on that 49ers team. And, as you can see on the tag, he's struggling. And I don't think he's struggling due to the fact that, he's not struggling due to the fact that it's him. It's the offensive line's been banged up. The OC can't get the play calling right. And this is Jalen Hurts, I think, 4th offensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken, in the past, since he's been in the league on the Eagles. Yeah. I think this is his 4th offensive coordinator. Vic Fangio is a genius. We know it's not a problem with him. This defense is one of the best in the league.
Right.
It's not a problem with him whatsoever. So you look at that situation, and it's tough because you look at the Packers game. You look at this Lions game. The defense is played so fucking good. Teams just can't score. I don't care if they can move the ball enough to get to the red zone, but the moment teams get in the red zone, they're getting sacks. They're getting pass deflections. They're making tackles for losses. It's not even a bend but don't break defense. This defense is elite. This defensive line is elite.
Right.
And the only team that's put up a real fight against them and exposed this defense is the Los Angeles Rams. And that is as to be expected. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams, one of the best offensive lines, Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl champion quarterback. That's as to be expected. There's not much anybody's been able to do for the Rams this year. And you just saw the Seahawks lose to the Rams this week. So the Rams are like Connor said, it's the Rams.
It is.
I wouldn't put the Bears in that mix. They're too stagnant on offense, and especially against bad teams. They've been too stagnant. Caleb Williams holds on to the ball too much. He was top 10. He was outside of the top 10 too as well in terms of time to excuse me. Fuck, I forget what the stat was, but he's had some of the most time to throw, and he's been sacked and had the most incompletions in terms of having one of the highest times to throw. So that's concerning. And the 49ers, I just don't think the passing offense is good enough. There's not a true wide receiver one. I think the Rams are the team that's going to make it to the Super Bowl. I don't think that the Eagles are going to have an answer for the Rams when it comes playoff time. And the difference between that is going to be Jalen Hurts versus Matthew Stafford. That's what this game is going to come down to. It really is. So, you know, they can, like Nero said, they can get upset early. There's zero doubt in my mind they can get upset early. They 1,000% can get upset early. And I'm not going to sit here and say that it would be the Lions because the Lions looked real stagnant, and the Lions are fully healthy. They just couldn't put up points. So, Nero,
Sam Laporta not being out there. Yeah.
Before we get out of here, you know, who do you think out of the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Niners, who do you see matching up with the Eagles the best if the Eagles were to win a matchup?
If they were to win a matchup, honestly, it would I would probably have to go with the Seahawks in terms of them at being able to win. I can go with the 49ers too, but I would say the Seahawks. And the reason I would say the Seahawks is because if they can pressure Sam Darnold and just how Sam Darnold was this past weekend with those 4 picks, we've seen Sam Darnold struggle in the big games. That's probably the only knock the last couple years with Sam Darnold. Really, it's not the stats. It's not him being able to play a football game. It's how important that football game is, and how important this past Sunday was to go out there and throw 4 picks, and you have JSN out there and you're missing throws also. You know, it's if you can get on Sam Darnold early, especially with pressure, especially with certain coverages, I don't think Sam Darnold is able to come out there with the dub if he has to play the Eagles. Everybody else, including the 49ers and the Rams, and I know the Eagles got a win early this year against the Rams on in a comeback game. I just don't see with that they'll have a tougher time. But when it comes to the Seahawks and just them defensively matching up with the Seahawks, I think the Eagles will be able to take it in that sense. And again, Sam Darnold hasn't shown that he's been able to be a big game quarterback so far.
Absolutely.
In the last couple of years. So I'd have to go. I would have to go with the Seahawks in this case.
Yeah. Yep. I think as well. Sam Darnold, man. It's just Sam Darnold. It's tough, you know. The Bucs are not doing anything. I'm sorry. Mike Evans is going to come back off IR. Chris Godwin is a question mark. The defense is definitely a question mark after the Bills put up 44 after having a disappointing week the week before. The Pats beat them. Bucs are too vulnerable. They're not that Eagles defense would make Baker Mayfield look real bad. Can't lie to you. It's the Bucs are just not a team that I trust right now at this point. They did look like a front runner to start the year, but like I said on last podcast the other night, when we did our Red Zone recap, tune in every Sunday for our Red Zone recap. Nero's normally on there. Spokes sometimes on there. Connor and Ben are normally on there. I said in the Red Zone recap, the Bucs are too injury depleted, and now they're coming back. They've come back down to earth in the last couple of weeks, and that's not a good sign going into the later part of the year. But one question that we have here from Go Hawks Go. My expectations for the Blackhawks. Honestly, this is a good young team. It's an exciting team. They've had some quality wins. You look at kind of the standings there, and I don't know. I don't necessarily hate it too much as far as the Blackhawks making some noise. They're 7th right now. They're tied with 4 other teams with 22 points, which is Winnipeg, Vegas, Minnesota, and Edmonton. 4 elite teams.
Wow.
They're right there in the mix. And
Yeah.
they just won their last game last night. It's exciting. Spencer Knight is playing well. Spencer Knight is been elite all season so far, and I think that Spencer Knight can definitely do something for this team as far as if they're going to go to the playoffs, he needs to have some sort of a Dustin Wolf type resurgence like Dustin Wolf had last year, where Dustin Wolf almost single-handedly brought the Flames to the playoffs.
100%.
Spoke before we get out of here. Last take of the night. What are your expectations for the Hawks, and how do you feel about the Hawks so far?
Expectations, sneaky playoff team. Keep in mind I said sneaky twice, so just beware of that. But I like your take about Spencer Knight, and Connor Bedard is balling, and I want to know where all those Connor Bedard's a bust people are at, because this guy's not a bust, and he has young teammates that have amazing potential that are helping him out. So this is what happens when you do a full good rebuild. You get your picks, draft correctly, and you develop your players, and now look at them. No one expected this to be tied with Vegas, Edmonton, and the 2 other teams. Winnipeg too. No one expected that. So sneaky playoff team. Bedard's balling, Knight's playing good, and Frank Nazar is still one of my favorite Blackhawks right now. So yeah, that's my take.
Looking at Spencer Knight real quick. Obviously, before we get out of here, look at a couple of his stats here. I think that 242 with 7 wins and 3 losses on this type of team is in a 924 save percentage is awesome. It's awesome. And obviously 15 high danger goals against. It's one of the best in the league. 884 high danger save percentage, which, mind you, keep in mind, guys, this is high danger. So that means close in on the net, in the slot, right below the circles, right above the circles.
He keeps his composure, which is really good.
As these numbers show. He's obviously top 50 in terms of high danger goals against, but it's early in the season, so the numbers are very, very close if you look at the overall numbers. And it says he's 95th, but I don't think that's right, honestly, for that. But because there's been a couple guys obviously rotating. A lot of teams rotate goalies. For those who don't watch hockey that are in here, goalies are rotated, so it's not a full season yet. These numbers will obviously look probably a lot better throughout the season if he stays healthy. But having a 242 on one of the worst defensive teams in the league last year and a 924 save percentage, it obviously shows that if he can stay healthy and, he can 100% take this team to a place where they can get in and sneak into the playoffs. 1,000%.
Yeah,
but
it could happen. It could happen. Look at Bedard, look at Knight, look at Nazar. They're all balling, and Blackhawks fans are I'm sure they're very happy, because those are their 3 guys, and those 3 guys are playing very well. Keep in mind, I think Nick Foligno's on IR.
Yeah.
So when
he's banged up.
When he comes back, I'm sure that'll become a second wind for the Blackhawks.
Absolutely, and he was balling out. He absolutely was
great for his age. Yes, he's a great captain in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's one of the best leaders in the league for sure. He's a rough rag and tag guy, skilled offensively, likes to play defense. He's a good all-around leader and a good all-around captain for this team.
And he's a great captain for such a young team. Shows them veteran. He's a good veteran and shows the experience of a veteran.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in with us. Thank you guys for coming through. Shout out to Mr. the one and only What the Hell is Happening Sports. Shout out Nero for coming back. And shout out Nero for pulling up on us. We missed you yesterday for Red Zone Sunday. I know you were probably a busy man, bro. So, we missed you yesterday. Yeah. I was looking for a little bit of Nero analysis on WTHHS, but we weren't able to get into the Celtics. Well, I'm sure I kind of saved that because I knew you were probably going to get into that either tomorrow or Wednesday. whichever.
Type
So
shit.
I saved the Celtics in case you want to have me on. I'm excited, bro.
Yes, sir.
For those who don't know, the Celtics fire game against the Clippers. I won't say much more, but if you guys want to go look at the highlights and then come watch on WTHHS, go subscribe, follow at WTHHS617 on Instagram. We got a clip on Bay State Media and at WTHHS617 on Instagram. Coming out this week, tomorrow. He had a clip about Anthony Simons and the Celtics from our last podcast. So you guys will be able to see Nero on our page. You'll be able to see him on the WTHHS Instagram page. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. W Stream. Yeah, man. We're gonna be here every night. I got a new setup, new laptop, some banners, some audio, some intros for you guys. Make it more of an immersive experience. So thank you very much. Shout out to Nero for always propelling us and helping us, going live with us, man. We appreciate you, dog.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Shout out to all TV, my dog. Hell yeah, you already know the vibes, bro. Hell yeah.
Yes, sir. We gotta get one of these days, bro. We gotta get me, you, and E-Man on a pod. Even if he wants to come on Base Day, let a nigga know. You know what I'm saying?
Type shit. Yeah, no, yeah. Let niggas know you. You already know, man.
Let us know.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. With that being said, shout out Mr. Spokes, B Center. Thank you for pulling up. I know you're a busy man too at school. Kids crushing it in school, guys.
Yes,
Kids
sir.
got all A's and B's, yo.
Yes, sir.
He's got all A's and B's, killing it out of Manual College. So a little bit of a round of applause there for Mr. Spoke B. Shout out to Mr. Spoke B.
Yes, sir.
Love you guys.
Good night. Have a good one.
Good night. Outro.